From the shores of Daytona Beach to the palm trees of Miami. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Homestead-Miami Speedway and to round number 2 of the SRA IEL truck season in preseason for our, the closing end of our Sunshine State doubleheader. My name is Little Rembo alongside Derek Watson. We're bringing you all of racing action from start to finish. 100 laps. The lap count has not changed from Daytona, but the mileage counter sure has. We've shaved off 100 miles worth of distance from the race that we had at Daytona. It'll only be a 150 lap sprint around here. It's the shortest preseason race. That could invite, though, some interesting nuances of its own, Derek.
Yeah, it's some very interesting nuances on a track that's known to be a little difficult to handle at times. So we're here at night time at Homestead-Miami Speedway, a 2-mile track here. So you see here, partly cloudy skies, 69 degrees is the temperature. That's in Fahrenheit, 71 degrees on the track. And lots of stuff. We'll talk about progressive banking and the history of the track and all kinds of stuff to talk about. But atop all that, Nolan, we have a packed 50-car field for this event.
Of course, not all 50 cars are going to be making that start. It could very well end up being one of those cases, much what they saw at Daytona, right? 50 cars will sign up for the session. I think we could still get a very healthy 30 or so that will look to make the grid. You've still got some of the returning faces. You've still got some new faces as well. Of course, once again, these races being put down in open lobbies, which means it's a bit of a who's who tag team for just about anybody on the service that wants to take a shot to come race with us here on Saturday nights. I'm already seeing quite a few new faces. Jason Fensler just joined the server during this open practice session. Ryan Wayne making his debut. Larry Eddy, Brandon Moore, Bruce Dudley II making incoming new starts as well. Jacob Johnson making his first start of his SRA career as well. And then, of course, you get others that are returning. Jim and Jared Duda are back out to party. Defending champion Aaron Raymond is ready to do battle. And returning from preseason round 1 will be Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez as well for Squeegee Racing. So there is still a lot to be decided. And granted, there might not be any points on the line, but that competition is not going to go away when you got a packed grid like this.
No, if you're an SRA regular, you want to come out here and show up, and you want to build some momentum heading in to the regular season. That's all what's important here. And if you're a newbie and you want to join the SRA, why not get out here and rub elbows and get to know these drivers and prove that you belong amongst this illustrious group. But here we got a truck on track, Nolan. This would be the number 20 right here. One of the few trucks that are still out here doing some laps. So that's Zane Bailey. Does not have a time yet. One of the few drivers without a time set here. Look at that, just beautiful. That's like a royal blue. That's just, it's pretty nice, actually. This kind of reminds me of the old IROC days, Nolan, of just a blue car, no sponsors, just kind of a plain look.
Yeah, I like it. It's a nice little look for that number 20 entry. Zane Bailey still looking for some good luck entering the regular series season in about 4 weeks' time or so. Zane Bailey, one of the drivers that we've been really keeping an eye on as of late. He has been a driver that has had quite a lot in the way of good positions. Several podiums. He's finished on the podium in every championship he's competed in so far, but has never been able to do enough to take the top spot.
Yeah, so this preseason time is a good time. Maybe you forgot some tracks, get out here, run some laps, try something new. Actually, there's no points in the line. These are the races I like to treat as science experiments. Why not try something different, see if it works, and maybe to carry those notes on to the regular season. So currently sees P17 at the line. We'll wait and see if he gets a better time here. Zane Bailey, I'm waiting for scoring to update. Oh, up to P5. That's a good run. P6. I see P5 on the board, actually. There we go.
So it will be a 5th place start then for Zane Bailey. He was one of the last cars, so while qualifying may have been completed, we'll take a chance to complete some of our pre-race ceremonies as well. It's the United States of America National Anthem coming at you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Time to take a rundown of how everything's going to line on up for the next 100 laps of racing action from the Sunshine State. The sun may have gone down, but those lights have flicked on, and we are ready to rumble once again. 34 cars getting gridded up on the racetrack for us right now. They're headed off by defending champion Aaron Raymond alongside newcomer Jason Fensler, off the mark for JF Motorsports by only 200ths of a second. Brendan Gregg back in the third spot on row number 2 alongside Paul Witt. Zane Bailey down in 5th place alongside series owner Thomas Lane Jr. Ryan Wayne, another rookie, down in 7th alongside Bill Hales in 8th. Larry Eddy is then in 9th, and Brandon Moore, another rookie for Fueled Up Motorsports, closing out the top 10. Jim Duda, series veteran, going to be back in 21st alongside Brian Huntley Jr. Jim Colmansberger going to be in 23rd alongside Cody Witt. Then it is William Roberts and Joshua Jergen. Colt Mazalewski going to be down at 27th alongside John Walden Jr. Anthony Lane and Richard May close out the top 30. Means it is critical to wait for that iRacing green flag and be able to have some good reaction times as we get down to the start-finish line. It's all going to be in the hands of one Aaron Raymond with the XI number 6 Toyota Tundra. Works his way off of the Geico restart zone. Green flag's out. We're racing in Miami. A lot of 3 wide, near 4 wide action coming around through turn 4. The 42 onto the apron, gonna just manage to wrangle it underneath them. Lap 1 is in the books. And this is Richard Whitaker here, Derek, that went around by himself off of turn 4. sure is. You see Michael Gudger working to the top side right now with the 36 of Kevin Roy. Behind him, Jared Duda running in that 53 car. Missed the first race at Daytona. Was present for about half the races in the SRA Mini Stock Series. Right now, started the midfield. Not a place Jared Duda is used to be in. He's been running up front in just about every SRA race he has taken part in. This is a new one being mired in the mid-pack for him. Right on board with Ryan Ware, trying to go into that middle groove, now sliding to the low side. He was ripping the outside wall. Might have gone a bit spooked this last time by off of turn number 4, but he almost got into it with Thomas Lane Jr. You see Zane Bailey just up the road fighting it out with Paul Witt. Zane Bailey up towards the top side of the racetrack. He is still looking like he wants to try to make that outside lane work. This track really does promote multi-groove racing, and that is being made evident with the type of racing action we're getting here at Homestead this afternoon.
It does kind of show where a driver wants to be, right? As drivers, we all have preferred lanes, and sometimes it's not the fastest lane. Sometimes what we're more comfortable in is more important to us than what's faster, right? Some drivers are aces at riding the wall. Some drivers want to be up there, scrub against that sort of that aqua-colored wall and riding the wall up there. Some drivers are scared of it. They're scared of scrubbing it, so they want to be at the bottom lane. And there's many philosophies or beliefs or ideas about what lane you want to be in, but sometimes whatever you're comfortable in can be more important than what you're faster in.
And of course, now we will look up to the front because now it's a rookie going up against a series veteran, a multi-time champion, Jason Fensler. The JF Motorsports number 43 Chevy Silverado to the inside of two-time defending champion Aaron Raymond. Fensler looking for the bottom side of the 15 entry. Again, just joined the SRA Discord earlier today. Potential looking to be a series regular. Raymond's at the wall.
Yeah, that's it right there. I told you that's hard to do. That's a skill, and not everyone possesses it. And that's not a knock on the drivers per se. It's just it's hard to do. However, where Raymond is getting that advantage lap by lap, Nolan, is when you ride that top side, you get to get on the gas sooner, less wheel input out of the corner, and you're going to be a little faster than Fensler time after time. So Fensler, if he wants to make the pass here, is going to have to find a way to gain a lot of speed here on Raymond and do it quickly.
Down the field, Jacob Jacobson and Jim Duda are looking like they want to try to slug it out as well. Duda squeezing Jacobson towards the outside wall. Immediately diamonds off of turn 2, and now goes down to cut off Luigi Gonzalez on the inside.
Yeah, that's the other way to make the pass on the inside, right? Is to sort of squeeze the driver ahead of you up into the wall or scare them into it and make them lift a little bit. And that would be the other way that Fensler could do it, and he has made it on pure speed. Here comes the undercut by Raymond, though. And Raymond's going to try it on the inside. Let's see how this goes. I suspect Fensler will keep into gas and will probably be in the lead out of turn 2 here.
Now you say that, Raymond's got the good over-under, and he's going to take it back. So Fensler, without that outside charge, he's been working the inside all race long. Might not have had the confidence to make that defense around the high side.
Yeah, I might just want to lay back and say, hey, listen, this is lap 10 of 100. We don't have to be, you know, full throat. Oh my goodness, I said that. They almost made contact right there. Whew, look at that at the line. That was darn close is what that was. Less than a tenth of a second is where they were right there. But this is a great battle. Now what this is doing though, Nolan, for Greg, Witt, Bailey, Wayne, Lane, and others on back, this is great news. This is a Christmas gift they're getting, because as these drivers are fighting side by side, they're not going their fastest. They're both compromising a little bit of speed, and they're welcoming that pack back into the race.
One of those drivers that might be celebrating a bit of that Christmas spirit. Going to be one Paul Witt, running the little bit of a Christmas themed paint scheme of his own and still fight within the top 5. Raymond back to the inside. It's crossover after crossover. as Fensler will back off turn 2 and let Raymond clear this one for the race lead. So all's well ends well there for the fight for the lead for the time being. Raymond's going to take that one in stride. There you see Paul Witt, some striking green on that 429.
See your portrait on that car, don't I? You're kind of the Grinch. You're a little bit of Grinch. I think I see your portrait on the front of the back of that car.
Do you? I see Moser racing on the back of the truck.
Maybe that's not the car. I thought I saw a car with a Grinch earlier that we talked about. Maybe that's not him.
You did. I know you did because I saw the same one. We're just looking at the wrong car for it. It's somewhere deeper.
All right, that's Michael. Sorry, that's Michael Allen that has the Grinch on it. Yeah, Michael Allen currently carrying the Grinch on board. So we'll look at that later. But yeah, we'll keep with this battle here. Man, that got close all of a sudden. And positions are changing as this race goes on. There's a nice look at the field. Get everyone a little bit of screen time here. Man, look at this deep in the field. Like, this is one of the beauties about Homestead. It's not really a drafting track per se. You know, it's not a Daytona. It's not a Talladega. So we're not, 2, 3 abreast just the whole way around. But the speed is so similar for everybody here, Nolan. You are using that draft. You are carrying speed. And hold on, there's a truck in the wall. That's the 18. That is Robert Amaral. And he has went ahead and towed it and called it a day as we almost had contact with the lead.
Raymond having to fight back around Jason Fensler to fend off another attack. Find out what happened to Robert Amaral here as he comes off of turn number 4. Just kind of pulls it to the inside. He probably had a hardware failure.
Yeah, that's not even like a snap loose on the corner. That's just I don't know. That might just be a real life thing or a hardware thing. He just said, it's calling it a day. Now, as we watch this battle for the lead, what I'm starting to wonder in my head a little bit, if I'm Raymond or if I'm Fensler, are they burning up too much stuff? Like this battle with these undercuts and the back and the forth and the passing and the under everything, I just wonder if they're burning up too much tire. I mean, we're on lap 16 of 100. No yellow flags, knock on wood. I hate to say that loud because someone will hear me, but like, when you battle that hard, you're burning up equipment. Are you letting these other drivers behind you be more conservative? And we'll find out probably about 10 laps or so what happens to Raymond and Fensler and if they can kind of maintain this pace. But there you go, you see Fensler now rode the bottom, Raymond rode the top. In the background again, here's another car, slowish. That's the 21, I believe that is. That is Bruce Dudley, and he is slow.
Something happened to Dudley here coming around. Gonna try to track down if we can.
Well, he made contact with someone.
Ooh, yeah, no kidding. Wow.
At the 3? At the 35. I couldn't get a number. That might have been Bill Hales in the 35. He made contact with and just kind of go. So I think he was just kind of slow, trying to gather himself back up here. But again, look at this right here. Look how close everyone is. There's a term that I don't always care for that we get used sometimes in broadcasting. We just throw a blanket over top of them, right? Well, that time you could. Like,
yeah.
the phrase is weird. I learned it from Justin Prince, but yeah, I mean, right there. I mean, look how close all this is. I mean, everyone, for the most part, pretty far down the list today, Nolan, all qualified within a second of one another.
See, almost 3 wide even there coming off of the corner with Kevin Roy, Gonzalez, and Bill Hales. So, I mean, they are definitely getting out there, getting a bit more feisty, starting to get some of that fight in. Now that we're working our way deeper to these runs, you talk about burning your stuff up early. It's a point in question, right? Especially since tires are always an interesting story when it comes to these types of races. SRA has very strict fuel limitations on these cars. At Daytona, we were pitting every 17 laps or so if we were able to get a green flag run in. It is wild sometimes how quickly you'll be seeing these guys coming down to pit road. More often than not, they'll hit their tire limit before they can hit the fuel number, so you'll often see drivers gambling on which stop do they want to take a fuel-only splash and go on.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning the fuel limit here tonight is 60% of a normal tank, so you will see some shorter pit stops than you're used to. That means we're probably not too far from seeing our first cars want to make that run down pit road. Most drivers will try to, I assume, hit the 25s if they can. So those drivers who have been kind of sitting in line, as we see here right here in this beautiful camera shot, those drivers are benefiting. Even though, yes, we all have the same amount of fuel, if I can sit behind you and I can conserve some fuel, I might be able to eke out an extra lap or two, and that might mean something later in this race. Look at this beautiful 2x. And there's the Grinch. Pretty sure that's Michael right back there. There he is. That's Nolan Rimple.
Yes, it is.
I've heard the stories. You guys are blood relatives. I've heard the stories.
Well, I'm not committing home invasion en masse, so I don't have a criminal record streak. Let's get that one thing straight. That's
No,
very
but
different.
but on a philosophical level.
Philosophical level, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's your right there. That's your selfie I just saw on the side of that car right there. But coming back to this, look at this. That's the little bit of beating and banging there on the bottom of the lane here. And now he's going to move on that iRacing machine. That is the, I can't get a number. That's the 10 machine. Boy, that was Richard May. He was beat the back of the car in front of him.
Look at this. Bounces off the wall, slings it 3 wide down the middle of both Jim Kolmensberger and Jim Duda. Two drivers that have a lot of history racing in this league between both of the Jims. So right here, you can tell Richard May, I think he wants to make a name for himself.
Yeah, why not try something out here? You see a car up top. They got really loose all of a sudden. That's the 52 of Dale Rapp. It was a beautiful save. Now he's 3 wide on the bottom. Man, if I knew that car was loose a moment ago, I would not want to be in a 3 wide with him where he's on the bottom of the track. I would probably back out, but they're going to stick in it. And I think that other car, that's a 47. He just backed out. Kolpensmerger just said, no, I'm good.
Yeah, fair enough. Dale Rapp, I think he's kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit. He is one of these drivers that has been racing in the SRA series for quite a few seasons now, so he kind of knows what he can and can't get away with. Might be trying to push the envelope, like you alluded to. Use these races as experimentation. Find out what works and what doesn't when you don't have a championship and points on the line.
Yeah, why not try it out and see what works? And it's also a good sign for newbies who either are in this race and want to join SRA, or maybe you're watching a broadcast live and you think that looks fun. Well, the SRA is still taking recruits. You can go find them in the hosted section of iRacing. You can look up their Discord and other manners and join in here. Remember, it's this 25 laps green. I would say the Vegas odds would not have paid on this. I would have taken the under, honestly, Nolan.
Well, we always love to be pleasantly proved wrong when it comes to situations like this. And again, not only 25 laps green, but it's been good green flag racing as well. Paul Witt will be the first driver to bail, and you called it right at the quarter. Mark Gutcher sliding from behind and almost hits the barrels.
Yeah, as drivers, we like to have things nice and even, right? And almost maybe not OCD, but close to it. And so anytime I can get something right on an even number, that's my goal, right? The 25 laps. Now, I know how that truck will behave all 4 quarters, basically. Right now, we're just in the first quarter using football terms. So I know what to expect as this race goes on. You see that'd be the right sides going up. Now here comes the left sides. There it is. So 4 tires and fuel for that green machine.
And there are your race leaders flashing by, putting them a lap down, but that is yet to cycle through because so far those are the only 2 trucks that have come down to pit road. Nobody else coming in on lap 26. That's a very interesting call if you ask me.
Yeah, however, right there, Aaron Raymond, the 6th machine, will be coming down this time. He has announced it, and I believe he will start a bit of a tidal wave, if you will, here. Once he comes down, yep, Thomas Lane has called it out, and many others are all coming down pit road. Pit road will be busy this time by.
Oh, boy, huge snapper Raymond. The entry and around is going to go Fensler into the wall.
That is not good for him. It's a little bit damaged. The good news, though, he's already on pit road. So no penalty for that. The penalty will be the humiliation of having it on broadcast. But as far as a black flag or nothing for him, but he'll lose a lot of time on the track.
I'm willing to bet he caught some wheel hop getting on the brakes here, trying to slow that thing down in reaction to Raymond coming in. Yeah, just locked up the rears and around he went. Not a lot of damage either. Like you said, that's a very low speed impact. He should be able to recover from that nicely.
Yeah, he'll need a caution at this point to make sure he stays competitive. If not, doesn't go a lap down. That was a lot of time lost on pit road, Nolan. Typically, the math we use is about 1 second on pit road equals 2 on track.
It's a long stop. I think he did get penalized for that.
I didn't see a black flag. I wonder if he just wants to fix the truck or what happened here. That's not the person I see, I don't think. However, Michael Allen in the Grinch machine does have a black flag. But yeah, I don't know.
Oh, one more car further behind, getting a little crossed up on entry. That was the 35 truck of Bale Hales that had a little bit of a moment coming down to pit road.
Yeah,
So
also, it's the 053 and Jim Duda served a black flag as well. So, well, there must be just some required repairs to that machine, or he's just going to call it a night. Because, yeah, that appears to be the end of his run.
Here comes Ryan Wayne in a pit road. Jacob Johnson is in a pit road. Larry Eddy, Brandon Moore still staying out on the racetrack. Right now, the top 9, barring Wayne, Johnson, Huntley, Rapp, and Dudley, have yet to stop. So that's going to cycle through to be about the top 4 that is yet to come down to pit road. And if I'm looking at this correctly, Paul Witt is going to be... Oh, whoa, what in the world happened there?
There was contact on pit road. That's the Grinch machine that just served a black flag of Michael Allen. Now he backs into the pit wall and cautions out. Yellow flag. This may be the best news Michael Allen can get. I believe it's going to be in the back straight is the location of the yellow. There's lots going on all at once. All of a sudden, lap 30, all hell just broke loose.
Well, if you want to take a look on what potentially brought out this yellow flag, I'll dissect what went down with Michael Allen there in the middle of pit road.
Wow. Lots happened there within 30 seconds, but Michael Allen just got turned on pit road. Watch his exit here. You're clear. You're clear. Lots of stalls. Lots of stalls.
Oh, no. And the 94 has to say, pardon me, I'm just going to duck around you here. Still no sign of what brings out our yellow for the first time tonight. I thought maybe it would have been for that, but I don't see why it would have been.
Yeah, it should not have been a caution for the pit road. I thought I heard drivers indicating a slow car on the back straight, but I was busy watching the pit road incident and wasn't indicating that as well. Race control's already indicated as far as the pit road incident. However, no penalty. Both drivers a little bit at fault is what I believe I heard come from race control. There's 3 wide. I just don't see anything. Do you?
We'll look to the back straight with one of our wall cams. Despite at least it'll tell us where we need to start looking at least. But this is right around where Allen gets turned. Right there. You do see one truck go around. Is that Gonzalez? I think that's Gonzalez. It was. You see the word for race control. Luigi Gonzalez, self-spin.
There it is. So thank you, race control, for helping out a little bit on that moment. Because you're right, Luis Gonzalez for a self-spin on lap 31 is the source of the caution.
Yeah, just lost that. That's a weird moment. Oh boy. Look at the front of that truck carrying off the ground.
Man, oh man, what he tried to do is he tried to save it. He realized he was going to spin to the inside, and he tried to flip the wheel around, and that's what caused him to spin right in the middle of the track, which is scary at best. Comes up off the track here, and lose it, spins it around. Now the good news, whoa, that actually got up off of a tire. The good news for him is no one hit him. He kind of grabbed it. That's like a good X Games trick right there. That'd have been a skateboard.
I'm very worried about how that truck lifted off the ground. And Derek, I'm not sure if you tuned in for the Daytona race. Trucks had an astronomical problem, though, trying to stay on the ground. It was a huge problem. We had several trucks flip over. We had one truck that bounced. It kind of got a little bit of air over the bus stop chicane and hovered for a good 3 or 4 seconds before settling back down. It was almost like they were using moon gravity at the World Center of Racing. That doesn't seem to have rectified itself for Miami here.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens here. We're going to delay the green and go around one more time under yellow. So 3 wide. We're not. This is not World Outlaws, boys. What are we doing? I don't.
This isn't the Indy 500 either.
Yeah, that's a good reference too, right?
Even if it was, it's not lap 1.
Right, yeah, no, yeah, but you know, it is worth mentioning, you know, as far as racing these trucks tonight, Nolan, this is the first preseason truck race for the SRA since the update this week, and there were a bunch of changes to the trucks and how they behave and how the damage is rendered. As far as there's actually a point now where you're just done. It's unrepairable damage, and you can be sent home, so like you do in the Indy cars if you break a wing or something like that. So we'll wait and see if that affects anybody here. But let's look at our front here. It's Paul Witt, pardon me, up front with Ryan Wayne, and then you got Joshua Small up there, Anthony Lane, and Brandon Moore. Now, what's interesting about this, Nolan, the reason I bring it up, Paul Witt did not pit when the caution came out. That's only 5 laps difference. So he took the lead by having already pitted before the yellow came out.
He was the first truck that came down the pit road. He did have somebody that came down with him, but those 5 to 7 lap differences on the tires, that is still enough to make a difference, but not a huge difference. It'll be interesting to see how this is all going to pan out. Paul Witt's got the advantage that his tires are more up to temp, at least they'll be closer to their operating temperature, than drivers like Small or Lanes are who pitted under this caution.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think those 5 laps will make much of a difference here. It would be about someone who maybe pitted like a lap. I just don't think it makes a difference, but we'll see. If it stays green, every lap matters, and where it will probably matter more is in the gas mileage than the tires, I would think, and who can go a few extra laps, because right now, Paul Witt's a little bit behind the 8 ball.
Green flag back in the air. Racing action will recommence at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. A good chunk of drivers leave for single file as a result of having to pit and then get weighed around the pace car with that 1 lap to go mark. We're already 3 wide, though, up front.
Yeah, not wasting any time here. Now the drivers saw how hard it was to pass. So now they want to be aggressive and make sure they get around here as fast as possible. But speaking of that, look at this. There's Ryan Wayne trying as fast as possible to take the lead here on lap 36.
Ryan Wayne looking to the inside. Paul Witt still fighting to the outside. Around is going Anthony Lane at the 82. He will save it, but he could drop out of the top 5 as a result.
Yeah, maybe even the top 10 as a result if he's not careful here. We'll wait and see how he goes here. Great job saving it. Was able to get off the gas a little bit, let the truck settle itself down, and get moving. But now he's under attack by multiple cars here towards the front of the field.
4-3 wide of the tail end. Jared Duda down the inside of a couple. Brian Huntley Jr. is caught in the middle and up to the top side. That is, I think, Cody Witt that we see drive towards the tail end. Another truck sliding it out. Who is that getting to the inside?
Yeah, and the silver number's a little hard to read there from the side of that truck, but I told you, this is what's common for this track for some reason, especially out of turn 4. It's very, very common for these trucks just to want to snap around a little bit, whether it just be that progressive banking ending, whether it be drivers being a little aggressive on the pedal. And hold on, big wreck. You see it right there in front of your screen. Oh, big truck went around. That's the 42. That is Lee Tidwell, who went round and round, and there's more trucks involved.
That was the big one on the back straightaway. You see another truck rejoined from the infield, and that was Richard Whitaker, the driver that was actually getting loose off a turn 4 just a moment earlier. And this happened way at the head of the field, so I wanted to bet there was definitely problems here.
Oh, there's going to be something, whether it be a checkup or whether it be this is some tight racing thing that's going to cause this. Let's find out. Oh, 2 trucks leaning on one another. And there it is. That's the 64 going around. That's Michael Gudger. And from here, the 20 went around.
Ooh.
Multiple contact. There's the 42 swinging around. Woo.
Zane Bailey, the second truck there to get airborne, nearly went over, and then, wow! That yellow truck with the red lettering just came screaming into the inside. Clearly thought they had it missed, and they just were not going to make that work.
Now watch it again here. You see there's the 64 and the 82. That's what's going to kick it off, and then multiple drivers trying to get around the wreck. And man, oh man, I tell you what, there is some unhappy folk recapping this wreck live. Yeah. I can tell you that. But boy, that's just a hard hit, and lots and lots. The 20, Zane Bailey almost made it out okay, except for that one wall hit. He could have probably got that moving here. But boy, oh boy. You're right, that old sort of Kodak style paint scheme there with the red and yellow, or yellow and red, I guess you would say. When they're in the last minute, Michael Roy was involved in a 36. And just count the cars that are involved here in this wreck.
It'd almost be easy to count the trucks that were not. Jeez. That's a hard hit to the inside. Again, not sure who that was. I believe that was Chase Mazalewski. So we'll ride on board with his view throughout this from the helmet cam.
Yeah, it's being exciting rides. He's going to think he has it cleared. Watch this. And this is hard to judge when you're in the truck. Trust me. Sees wreck happening. Gets the inside. I got it.
Don't got it.
Oh, don't got it. Yeah. And that's how fast it happens. Listen, you and I get the benefit of being up here and kind of analyzing it and breaking it down and slow-mo replays and this and that. But when you're in the truck live, it's harder. You just got to pick a lane sometimes and hope that it works. Watch Zane Bailey here. Oof, tried to move to the inside and just sort of cut on the 3 and got 2 wheels off the ground again. And almost had a save right here. Watch this, except for this front nose hit. That's...
Yeah.
Oh.
Once again, though, I mean, we get trucks that have a hard time getting settled back on the ground. Anthony Lane has been given an end-of-the-line penalty for that incident. Got loose off of turn 2, and, well, words of race control, calamity ensues. First contact at fault will send that 82 truck to the back.
Yeah, I'll send a few cars home as well, I would assume, or at least down to pit road for a lot of damage repair here as we work now lap 41. So we're about halfway through, only 2 cautions. And listen, for the number of trucks we have for a recruitment race for a league, you know, for all the factors of a recipe you want to mix together, this is a really well-run race here. But I was taking a look at the front here, and I was really surprised. If I was Paul Witt, Ryan Wayne, Joshua Small, or others, I would have thought about taking gas there. I'm surprised how many stayed out up front. Where's our first pitter? Lap 40 would be P9, P10, I believe. Brandon Moore is your first one to have pitted. So we'll see tires and gas-wise how he fares out.
Rest of the field will come on around towards the start-finish line this time by. We'll once again look to kick this race off. Green flags out. We're back to racing. Paul Witt getting a good jump on the run down to turn number 1.
Kind of watching along to see who's going to happen here and who's going to make a move. And I'll make a moment here. A couple of black flags under review from race control. So right now, I think Cody Witt has one, but those are, we'll see if those get approved or removed or what have you. But a pass, a lead right there. That is Ryan Wayne. He's now at the front.
Ryan Wayne takes the lead away. Paul Witt cannot go for the over-under because championship regular Brandon Gregg looking for the inside, trying to take the number 2 spot away. Kind of limits Witt's options to fight back against Wayne's charge. And now Brandon Gregg pulling along even with the 26 truck for the lead of the race.
Yeah, doing a great job here. Now they got Witt back in P3. So we'll see how this race forms. Look at that Witt under attack on the bottom, the very bottom of the track. That's a scary move there because the way these tracks want to move up the track. And boy, oh boy, I thought for a second for sure Witt was in trouble. But here now is a battle for the lead again.
You know, we talked a lot in the High Tide Racing League, right, about how there wasn't a lot of faith being put in Ford or Toyota in the race on Monday night. Whoa. Take a look at the differences here. It's a Toyota fest up in the top 10.
It really is. Not just the top 10, I mean, all the way down through probably like the top 25 or so. There's way more red emblems than anything else in this race. So you're right, kind of interesting to see how that all sort of washes out sometimes. But look at this battle here. This is Wayne holding off Greg, holding off Raymond, and holding off Witt and others. Aaron Raymond trying to get back to the front here, trying to reclaim the lead he had at the start of this run tonight.
Brandon Gregg taking the 27 truck down low. No dice, though. Wayne able to pull out. That outside lane's getting more and more rubbered in, and I'm starting to think it's going to be a big challenge if drivers want to try and overtake that Adam number 39 Toyota Tundra. Not going to stop the 27 engine, but trying. He will be forced, though, to tuck back in line. Want to point out right now, first to 19th, separated by only 3.5 seconds, and the gap from one truck to another is no more than a quarter second right now.
Yeah, everyone's on top of one another. Everyone's trying to pounce and make a move. Everyone is excited to make that pass when they can. But right now, look at this. I said we're not at Daytona or Talladega. We got a little single file choo-choo train going on here on the top of this track.
There's several trucks trying to get some momentum going for the high side. Some drivers still holding faith at the inside, might hold some speed. That was Aaron Raymond and Paul Witt that were looking down low. And again, it'll be the same trucks that try to go to the low side. And this time, Jared Duda going to try to follow them through. That's what Anthony Wayne wants to see because now, sorry, what Ryan Wayne wants to see because he can now start to try to pull a quiver this lead up the road and build a gap.
Yeah, I mean, he'll build a bit of a gap, but it's not going to mean much. I mean, all the drivers up front pitted somewhere between lap 26 and 30. Now, we've had a couple cautions, so probably they're all going to pit around lap 55 or so. So, I mean, yeah, build that gap you have for now, but it's kind of for naught because the front 9 or so all need to pit, and they need to pit much sooner than drivers like Brandon Moore, Bruce Dudley, Dale Rapp, and others. So there will become a point when this is going to cycle around and become a weird cycle fuel strategy race in a few moments.
Aaron Raymond still working to the high side. Jared Duda trying to open something up down low, looking to maybe make a move happen up the inside of Paul Wett. Squeeze is in line, and there's Aaron Raymond right to his outside. Oh, contact between the two.
Ooh, that was close. You see right there, that's Moser racing in front of it. That's on the back of Witt's car. He's trying to make a run on the bottom here. And I am kind of curious how it's going to work out. If I were right now, if I were Witt or others, I'd be more curious about squeezing the top lane as they were 3 wide to that camera shot.
And that is the 21 of Bruce Dudley, the second to the inside of Luigi Gonzalez. Brandon Moore able to pull a quid from a lot of them in the Build Up Motorsports number 3 Chevy Silverado. So there's a lot of aggressive racing actually done back here. Jared Duda, Aaron Raymond. These are 2 drivers that have history, and it is not nice history. They came to blows several times after the South Boston race. They tried to, well, I think Aaron Raymond at least tried to make amends, say, hey, let's have a fresh start. Let's try to see if we can, try to overcome this, have a fresh start. Jim Duda agreed. Jared Duda, I think, had already left the conversation at that point in time. He might not have gotten the memo with how hard he's pinching in that 6 off of these corners.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Look at that 53 with those bright green colors on the bottom. You're right, and this is what I talked about. This is what I want to do if I was on the bottom. You want to pinch those trucks up top, limit their run, limit the space they have to get comfortable here, and maybe you can make a move around just like Witt is doing, as he's got a clear, good run there. Coming into the back straight. We'll see if he can keep it.
Paul Witt, Brendan Gregg side by side, Jared Duda and Aaron Raymond side by side. All of this allowing for Ryan Wayne to continue to walk out a gap. Hovers at between 3 and 4/10 of a second. I think they're still able to run some of that draft down. Both Witt and Duda complete the pass of their respective drivers. Raymond quickly back to the inside, trying to go for 2.
Yeah, now looking almost 3 wide offset here as they come through the corner, and the 53 backed out of it. But they'll be right here under attack. Now the problem is, as they're racing 2 wide, not only are they kind of letting Wayne slowly pull ahead, but they're also letting the likes of Small, Bailey, Dudley, Moore, and Huntley get involved once again. Look at it right up the track. That's Raymond. And is that Dudley up top? I couldn't tell.
You saw how much room Raymond gave Duda immediately off of the corner. I think trying to immediately say, that was not malicious. Please don't take me out.
Yeah, so I think he succeeded, kind of backed out. And he did apologize and on the IRC radio and said, hey, I'm sorry. Didn't get a response, but I think based on what you said of the history, that's not a surprise.
Yeah, well, apologies can still go a long way. Even if he doesn't get a response, that apology will still be there, and it has been said. And I think actions speak a lot louder than words in some situations. I think the fact that he immediately gave him the room and gave him the spot is also going to speak volumes to Jared Duda, because Raymond did continue to try to race it out with him.
Yeah, so I think he did the right thing there. Man, you get to see how this track is changing and how these drivers are having a hard time, but the way these trucks are moving around, just how much they're up and down the track, maybe not the straightest of lines, and that 6 machine is really, really struggling. But get ready, Nolan. I'm pretty sure within 3 laps or so, yeah, Aaron Raymond just called it out right there. Pit stops are a-coming for those who did not pit under the last yellow.
So now we're going to be seeing very staggered pit stops, right? Those that pitted before caution 1 versus those that have pitted under either cautions 1 or caution 2, which came in pretty quick succession. And this can have a huge impact on how this race could pan out. Again, we've seen this in races past. Look at what happened the last time we went out for the High Tide Racing League. It can have a big impact on these races. Now, Raymond's pitting right in the middle of a big pack here, so you have to watch these checks up. He's not the only one. Paul Witt is also coming in.
Yeah, both of them did a good job of getting it down to the bottom, getting it kind of wound up. Very clear communication about what they were doing. And let everyone on by here. So on lap 56, comes two of our top drivers. I suspect in laps 57 and 58 will be more of the same because Wayne, Greg, Duda, Dudley, I believe, all need to pit. In fact, I think Greg just called it out himself. He will be pitting this time by. So this is where it's going to kick off. Now, you're right. This is where all the math begins. This is where the spreadsheets get moving. The calculators started burning and whatnot. And the cars begin wiggling down pit road.
And now looking for three wide again. Down the front straightaway. Richard May, Luis Gonzalez, Georgia Kirafides making moves with one another. There you see Raymond leaving pit road. The tank truck of Richard May way up, almost into the outside wall. While Kirafides looking to the inside will continue his strong run.
Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. That's a 4 machine. We haven't seen him on the broadcast yet tonight. That's a nice look for that 4. That is George down the inside. There's more cars down pit road. Nolan, with the way that 4 car was slow, did he maybe miss his pit road? Did you see how slow that car was there? It's made me wonder. I mean, he pitted on lap 40, so I don't think he would have had to have pitted here, but he was super slow out of that corner.
I don't think he missed pit entry because that's the second lap we've seen him take a very shallow exit. I think he just doesn't have a lot of confidence in tracking up over that progressive banking as he gets off of the corners here.
Yeah, that progressive banking is so weird. We talk about it at Homestead now. It's not really a big deal anymore, right? It's something that happens so commonly across tracks that now the fact that Homestead has it. Hold on, let's hold on to that. Look at Raymond driving the 4 really hard there, and also driving the 52 really hard. Man,
see,
oh man.
Oh boy. See, now to kind of touch on Aaron Raymond, I touched on this a little bit. He has a reputation for being quite the aggressive driver. That right there is why, especially around pit stops. He doesn't like being held up by slower traffic.
And that's the flip side of this argument, right? He's on new tires, and so everything he does is going to look aggressive because the difference in speed of those tires is pretty impressive. Right now, you can make an argument that he should slow down a little bit and let things happen, but if you slow down, you're letting the effect of those new tires wear off, and so that's the flip side of the argument. And you have to find a nice balance in between, right? You have to find a way to be respectful of your opponents, but also at the same time take advantage of what you have. The problem is these dives on the bottom. There's the 19 is going on by, and that, oh man, that wasn't the 19. I don't remember on that. It says 19 in the truck, but there's no 19 entry in the field, Nolan.
Hazards of running in an open lobby.
Oh, man. Here, I'm going to have my old man moment of the night. This is an open lobby. This is not, when they get to the league, this will all be fixed. But when you get to an open lobby, custom numbers should not be a darn thing. I'm sorry. It's awful. But this is my old man moment of the night. But look at this. I always say pictures speak louder than words. That picture right there, that's what new tires give you. That is an amazing, amazing run by the number 6 machine as he's trying to get around here. So last time by, he's a 32.996 on the lap time. The leader, a 34.071. He is making up more than a second per lap on this field.
Well, right on board. He's right behind the number 3. He was not taking tires, and you can even there. I mean, did Aaron Raymond bump him? Yes, but you heard him. He was not on the gas. He was lifting, braking, trying to stay out of him. That's just the closing rates you get with fresh tires at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Yeah,
I don't think Moore's happy with him there either.
No, you're right. He's being aggressive, and that's going to cause some upset feelings. You can't, you can't go through life apologizing and then repeating your same mistake, right? It's like saying, if I slap you in the face, say, hey, I'm sorry, and I slap you in the face again, it's sort of hard to believe I was sorry the first time if I do it the second time, right? So I don't know, but right now, you're right. Brandon Moore is not happy. Here's another car down pit road. Hard to see. It's a dark car on a dark racetrack, but there's little lighting on pit road. So we'll watch this truck come down pit road here. But I was going to say earlier, it's funny that we talk about this progressive banking, Nolan, because it's not really a big deal anymore, right? So let's see here. This is the truck. Oh, that was down. That's the one that just went down pit road, I think. That was a big lick to the inside wall there.
Cody went.
But, when progressive banking debuted here back in, 2002, 2003 at Homestead, it was a big deal. It was really the first track that really kind of did it in the way that Homestead does. But now, lots of people kind of do it.
And it's understandable why, right? It produces great racing. It's amazing that it almost took us that long to be able to figure out that that's what the formula could be. You know, shorter line versus less banking. Higher banking equals more speed, but a longer line. Which one do you want to take? And, well, that's just cold tires of the 39.
That's a heck of a lick right there on the inside for the 39. But you're right, it produces great racing, and it's just so, like I said, it's just that way. It produces great racing, fun racing, and lots of strategy involved because the corners react very differently from top lane to bottom lane for these drivers. Remember the infamous story about this progressive banking? Remember, Homestead was a very flat track before this. I've been through a couple of changes. At first, it was a very rectangular track, like a mini Indianapolis. Then it became an oval with very flat corners, and so when they put the banking in, there wasn't a lot of testing here, and the first person that's quote-unquote tested was Tony Stewart. He came and visited the track one night after the remodel was done, and he convinced a security guard to drive him around the track in the security guard's patrol car. That was the first driver to really get a feel for how this track behaved.
It's wild sometimes what racers will try to do to get one tiny little bit more of an edge, right? Because I will bet that forward knowledge of what the track might do from that little ride-along, that probably had a big hand the next time he came out and raced at this place.
Oh, 100%. I believe that as well. So, but yeah, this is a track that really has produced great racing. At one point was our finale track, and I think there's maybe a push in the community to see this go back to the finale, maybe in 2026.
Oh, yeah.
But here's more cars down the pit. This would be about the time for the cars who pitted under our last yellow. This would be the cycle for them to come around. So those cars that pit around on lap 40 or so, that would be cars such as Bruce Dudley, Brandon Moore, Zane Bailey, and others will begin to pit here. And this pit cycle will kind of be moving every about 10 laps or so until the end of the race if we stay green.
Right now, Bruce Dudley the second and Brandon Moore are the top two. They last pitted on lap 39, so pretty much bang on 30 laps ago. So we're expecting these guys at any time, along with everybody else from Zane Bailey to Kirifides to Gutcher to Lane. Mullet, I believe, still technically the net race leader as it stands, running back at the number 7 spot. He pitted on 55.
Yeah, and that number's going to be kind of odd to see how this math works out, right? And who ends up making, quote-unquote, the final stop correctly will determine who ends up being the net leader. Because I believe these drivers who, right now, Dudley, Moore, Bailey, will probably be on the correct cycle when this race ends if everything stays green here.
You know what will make the math real easy right now?
No, don't do it.
I don't need to
Don't even say
it.
the word. Don't even say the word. We're good. We're having a good time here, right? We're almost 70% way through, almost 3/4 of the way through the race here. This thing is flying by. Lap 70 of 100. Again, if you're watching this and you're thinking, man, those guys look fun to race with. This looks fun to do. The SRA is still taking recruitments for their season, which I believes, Nolan, just after the new year. We have a couple more recruitment races on the next 2 Saturdays, and then they'll begin their regular season.
Yes, sir. Preseason races at Texas Motor Speedway next week, Charlotte Motor Speedway the week after that. One final one at Talladega Super Speedway on the 4th. And then it's back to Daytona to kick off racing action for season number 6 of the SRA IEL Truck Series proper. And it might only be a 14-week season. If only 14 weeks doesn't sound like a lot of time, we're not short of racing action the rest of the time. Oh, hold on. We got one truck actually around entering pit road. That's Jim. Somebody was around entering the pits there, stopped against the pit wall. It was Kirifides.
It certainly was, but luckily for us and for them, typically trucks down by pit road do not trigger the icing caution system. So more trucks down pit road here. You see another car. That's the 4. Oh, man.
Jeez.
Boy, I said it wouldn't typically trigger, but he was probably one bad bounce away from being up on the track, but he'll call that a night. He'll tell the net, oh, never mind. Here's your caution right here. Caution is out.
Yellow flag will come out, and, well, we'll try one more time, get a look at this as that is a violent impact into the fence.
Yeah, that is a tough hit here. to have.
You know, that was what we needed to get everybody back on cycle with everyone else. I would be shocked if we didn't see anybody coming down pit road.
Well, I don't know. If you just pitted, you know, maybe you're willing to take the track position and see what you can make of it. So let's look at this here. I mean, for Paul Witt, Greg, Aaron Raymond, Ryan Wayne, they all just pitted on lap 56. Jared Duda pitted on lap 60. I don't know who's going to come down pit. This really could be a question of gas mileage. If you think you can make it gas-wise from here, you stay out. If you have any question in your mind, you have to take gas here. So we'll wait and see what happens and who comes down pit road. And everybody, you're right, everybody appears to be coming down pit road.
Still no word on what brought out this yellow flag. There you see Paul Witt leading the way in. There's one driver leading the way out, and that is, in fact, Kirafidez, the driver that we just saw going into the pit attenuator. Zane Bailey stays out. He pitted on lap 70. Also staying out are a few others. Chase Monzalewski are staying out. Brandon Moore, Bruce Dudley, and Gudger are all staying out as well. They've all pitted since lap 66.
Yeah, so this could be interesting. See how this plays out. That's why we love this stuff, right? This is my nerd stuff right here. It's the strategies and numbers and the calculators and everything, and see how it ends up here. So we're working only our third caution on lap 74. We're 3/4 of the way through the pit road.
Do you have any word on anything on why we're under yellow here, Derek?
I don't actually. I tried to take a quick peek and I couldn't find it. Was hoping race control would clue us in on why we're under caution. But I will say, you know, you and I talked a little bit about this track and its history. You know, it's been was the Valley track for a long time. It's the Valley track for what, probably 20 years or so, until it was replaced by Phoenix, you know, back in maybe right before pre-COVID. And as I said, there's a push to get it back to the finale track. I'm personally a fan, Nolan. I don't think there should be a finale track, quote unquote. I think it should rotate like Super Bowl host cities or what have you. And
21
winning system, there you go, for the 21 self-spin turn 4. But I'm a believer that the in real life, and I think in leagues actually, I think it'd be fun if the finale track rotated every season. I don't think there should be about having that system. So let's watch it here. They're going to claim the 21 self-spun. He's going to get run up the track a little bit by Zane Bailey.
There it is. Just lost it off 4.
Yep. Just trying to avoid Zane Bailey, and Reddy did a great job at threading the needle. We should talk about that. I mean, we were kind of focused on watching the spin. We knew it was coming. It kind of been spoiled for us, but he did an amazing job at not getting hit.
And a good job of keeping it off the wall as well. I'd be content enough to call that a good save. That could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a lot worse indeed. Look at that. Even after all that, because he didn't pit, the 21 is going to be up here in P3 on this restart.
There you go. Takes a caution to get those tires back down to a normal temperature. And the IRC pace truck will pull down into pit road, and it'll be in the hands of Chase Monzalewski to the green flag once again in Miami. Zane Bailey quickly jumping out to another good launch off of this restart, and Gudger being forced dump into the outside wall as he tried to get around the outside of the 21. But boy, did Bruce Dudley ever slam the door shut in his face.
Certainly did, right? Just got it shut very hard in front of his face, and now you can see the intensity is going to pick up here. Less than 25 to go. Everybody wants to make a move. Look at this, 3 wide. Let's move around like ants at a picnic here. Everyone is trying to find the right lane to get to that proverbial piece of cheese they want, which is called the lead.
Right now, that piece of cheese held very firmly by Zane Bailey. Whoa, couple trucks sliding out. That was Paul Witt jumping to the inside. Here comes Ryan Wayne looking for the outside. Jared Duda will go 3 wide up the middle, and he's got the 47 of Coleman'sberger getting it into the mix as well.
Yeah, lots of action here. We see that green machine here. Stand out pretty brightly in the dark parts of the track. That's one of the benefits of having those bright paint schemes. They're pretty visible at all times. And so Witt here and others doing a great job. That's a 429 there. Moving back, look at that 3 wide, the Irising machine up top, and thought the best of it at the very last second.
Ryan May has been making some real aggressive moves, and he is not about to stop now. By the way, pit stops, we are done for the night in terms of scheduled pit stops. If you've gamed it out correctly, you should be good to go the distance. The one truck I'd be concerned about right now, Derek, Chase Buzalewski. He last pitted since lap 66. That'd be one of the longest fuel stints to go to the end that we have seen all race long, even with the help of the yellow.
Yeah, he'll need probably 1 or 2 more yellows to make that thing work. I don't, unless he's really going to sit in line. Well, currently he sits P4 in that number 77 machine. Unless he's willing to sit in line and just draft and maybe be 80% throttle, I don't see how that works. That's too many laps, I would imagine, to get around here. But other trucks now trying to make a move. And again, we're back to single file top lane. You can tell which lane is dominant. You can tell which lane more drivers are comfortable in. But in the corners, it really does spread out.
Look at Aaron Raymond thread the needle up the middle there. Immediately cuts the inside. 3 wide for the middle of 1 and 2. Now 3 wide for the bottom of 3 and 4. Buzalewski and Gutcher are on the high side of the racetrack. The 6th truck going to go down the middle lane. He's going to pick up 2 for 2. They're 3 wide still. Middle of the pack. Look at the 21 trying to find a way to get through, but there's just nothing for him. Anthony Lane has taken a tow to pit road after crashing on the backstretch.
Yeah, so you see, this is the thing about Raymond, is that you can be maybe mad at times that he's a bit aggressive. And, oh, I thought he had that saved. Oh, gosh. That's the 82. I thought he had that saved for a moment. But then just hit that wall on the outside the very last second. But listen, you can be mad at Aaron Raymond for being aggressive. You can say maybe he makes passes that are questionable or icky or, you know, uneasy. But look at that pace. I mean, look at how that car moves through the field. That's why he does it, because he has the confidence that the truck will stick.
And credit to him for all of that 3 wide, right? Was the 3 wide aggressive? Absolutely. Was it clean, though? Also, absolutely. He didn't touch anybody throughout all of that. And I think this is what I think, right? If you don't make contact with anybody, fair play. Go at it.
Yeah, and listen, sometimes you and I talk about this, wanting to get ahead of other drivers and making them wonder what you'll do next or if you'll do it. And making those kind of passes and making them clean will get to other people, either positive or negative ways, and get inside their head and maybe throw off their rhythm. So, hey, go for it if you can make it work. But the downside is when it doesn't work, then you're going to be willing to take all the blame and responsibility for making a move that just didn't work that one time.
Dale Rapp still looking for the inside of Chase Buzalewski. And the 52 car going against the, 77 on the timing tower, 45 on the truck. As Rapp will fight to the inside, picks that one off as he gets off at turn number 4. Move Dale Rapp up and into the top 10.
Yeah, we talked about Buzalewski needing to get some more gas in this machine. He's not drafting, he's not saving, so I do not think he has the gas without an additional yellow or 2 to get around here. Now he's going to sit behind Dale Rapp for a second, but that's not been the goal. Typically, if a driver wants to save, that's their goal, is to do it all the way around the track. You can't just do it every now and then. Saving gas is like a full-time job.
It really is. One driver that comes to mind when it comes to fuel saving, Corey Rutherford with the American Sim Racing League. He often tries to go for the fuel strategy types of races. Since so many of the SRA races have gone caution-free over the last season, what he would often do, start fuel saving about 5 laps into a 200-lap race. And even then, would just barely make it to the end. You really got to commit to a fuel game strategy early if you want to play that type of a game.
Yeah, you really do. It's a full-time gig to make it happen. You can't selectively do it. Man, there was almost contact there with the 10 as he was coming down off the corner. Ooh, that was a close hit there almost hit for Richard K, but got it all worked out. Here we are, 15 to go. Another beautiful run these cars are under here. And right now, our race leader, Bailey, is walking away by half a second over second place.
Yeah, Zane Bailey really walking out that race lead. Brandon Moore and Brennan Gregg, the 2 drivers that might be able to contend the most for that victory, unless we get one more yellow flag to slow down proceedings here on a Saturday night. But for now, I don't think there's anything that will stop Zane Bailey from just running away with the race win here.
Yeah, nothing short of a yellow flag is going to stop him from probably walking away, unless we're going to find out in a moment that he has burnt up his equipment. I mean, maybe he's, maybe you could almost make an argument, hey, you're half a second ahead. Back it up, save some tires, save some whatever, save some gas, because you don't, whether you win by half a second, or a tenth of a second, you still win. So there are some people who would argue, listen, don't be too aggressive here. Don't show off too much here with 13 to go. But look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars, all single file. No battles. Greg, Moore, Raymond, Witt, Duda, we saw back in that camera shot. And then it's 3 seconds back to find Dudley in P7.
Brennan Gregg is starting to reel the gap in, though. Closed in 2/10 this last lap by. And this time at the stripe, he will have gained a little bit more as well. About another 0.07 of a second. That 27 truck is hunting for the lead.
Yeah, and he's doing a pretty good job. He's staying in draft. Watch this. He's kind of matching the line. They both track up together. Really trying to stay in that draft line to see what any advantage he can get off of our race leader. And he is matching that line like mark for mark, pavement by pavement, pixel by pixel, if you will, as he is looking to copy that movement. Let's watch it again here at the line. He's getting now down to 0.3 of a second. So he is gaining time, and with 11 laps to go, has plenty of time left.
And then up top, there is Aaron Raymond. Raymond taking 5 wins out of 8 starts in the SRA Mini Stock Series. Bested Zane Bailey for the championship by about 9 points. Zane Bailey really trying to see if he can finally get one up on Aaron Raymond. To clarify, I mentioned earlier in the race, right, that Zane Bailey has not ever had necessarily a championship-winning season. That's not to say he hasn't had good seasons. He has had phenomenal seasons. Bunch of top 5s, bunch of top 10s, even a bunch of podiums. But that's not enough when you got a guy like Aaron Raymond that wins every other week.
Yeah, eventually you got to break through that for real glass ceiling. You got to just do it, just get it over with, and it'll feel good when it happens for any driver. When you get that first win in a league, or maybe you get a win at a special track like Daytona or whatever your home track is, it'll feel good to happen. So listen, even here at a preseason race, if you're Zane Bailey and you can pull off a win at Homestead, that's an accomplishment. That's a resume builder. That's something you write down and you're proud of when time moves on. So here we are now, 9 to go, less than 10 laps to go. And as you said, I mean, everyone pitted basically above lap 70, minus one truck who is falling pretty far down the track now, down to P15, that number 77 to Chase Modzkalewski. So he is falling fast here, Nolan.
Michael Gudgeon, the only other driver on track that pitted prior to lap 70. He stopped on 69. He is right now running in the 11th place spot. Zane Bailey stopped on 70. Brennan Gregg is good to go to the end. He stopped on 73. Thomas Lane Jr. just come down to pit road. He has bailed out, and he will go down a lap as a result. Meanwhile, Bailey, Gregg, Raymond, Moore, and Duda. You see all of them on screen as Jim Duda will tuck back in line. Sorry, Jared Duda tucks in line behind Brandon Moore. But Brandon Gregg is now all over the back of Zane Bailey. Fight for the lead is on.
Yeah, fight for the lead is on. Let's wait and see if Greg can get around here. He's now going to get behind. He's now going to move to the inside. And will he make the pass attempt? He will. Look at those two vastly different lines. You could park a school bus or two between them. But they're going to come back together here out of the corner. And that's a pass. That's a very clean pass, a very fast pass for Greg.
Zane Bailey tried to get the power down, tried to go for the over-under down the backstretch. Caught the wall, though, coming out of turn 2, and that killed any momentum he might have had.
Yeah, it will definitely kill that momentum, and so now he'll see if he can pull off the draft here. Now see what he can do. The good news for Zane Bailey, in a way, is now he gets to sit behind and maybe see if he was worried about fuel, he'll get a lap or two to kind of draft and do what he needs to do. So I'm telling you, with 30 laps to go, if you were the leader all 30 laps, I would be slightly concerned if you could make it around here. We saw drivers pitting out 25 laps, 27 laps, so 30 would be a big ask here. Now watch this 3-car battle here. You see 2, 3 different lanes being used and different strategies being run here. What I love about this track is how everyone uses a different lane, but you all sort of come back together out of the corners.
5 laps the distance. Chase Montelewski could not go the distance. He is into pit road. He is spinning in pit road. Nearly went all the way around as a result. They're still fighting down for the last spot inside the top 5. That's Paul Witt. That's Brandon Moore. I think Moore is dropping back, trying to save just a little bit. Paul Witt is up to the top 5.
Yeah, that tells us right now with 5 to go that I think everyone else above him is going to be right on the brink. Now, keep in mind, we get 2 overtime attempts. If that overtime attempt happens, everybody needs gas. But minus that with 4 to go, I think there's some drivers staring. I don't know if everyone's going to make it, but everyone is staring at that meter, at that tachometer, at that gauge, if you will, wondering if they can make it all the way around here.
We have been racing for just over an hour, and that is even with cautions. We have already ticked off almost 150 miles. It is the shortest of the 5 preseason races, and the shortest out of the 3 that are at 1.5 mile speedways. The next race we will have, we're going to extend the distance by quite a bit. It's almost going to be 250 miles when we go racing to the Lone Star State next week at Texas. Now, Derek, Texas gets a lot of flack. I think a lot of it deservedly so. It's one of my least favorite NASCAR tracks in the real world.
Oh,
this league has done a great job on making me come dangerously close to loving it. They put on a show there.
That track is beautiful. They've done some improvements where they've made the corners wider. They've made the racing better. It's got the cool lights up in the fences when the caution comes out. I'm excited to go to Texas next week and get some racing done. And, you know, the distance is longer, but the lap times are way shorter. Not way shorter, but they are shorter at Texas. I shouldn't say way shorter, but they do get a little shorter. So it'll be a fun race 1 week from tonight and see how everyone handles the more traditional cookie cutter style of the 1.5 miles with the dog leg in it. But here we are now coming out of this corner. 1 lap to go here at Homestead.
Brennan Gregg taking this trip around down to turn number 1. Zane Bailey fighting to see if he can at least, if not go for a win, at least get one up on Aaron Raymond. It's a fierce battle for the number 2 spot. Brennan Gregg, meanwhile, taking off as he comes around to the turn numbers 3 and 4. For the final time this afternoon, he started on the podium. He will not only finish on the podium, but on the top step as well. Brennan Gregg comes off of turn number 4. Brennan Gregg wins the 2nd preseason race at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Wow, what a beautiful race this was, everybody. Lots of clean racing, lots of 3, 2 wide racing, lots of leaning on one another, but man, that was fun.
That was, and like I said, right, a lot of leagues, when they have these open-style races, it can be a little bit messy sometimes, and Daytona had its moments, but for the most part, it was good. SRA is one of the best in the business at putting on green flag runs with these types of trucks.
Yeah, that was impressive. That was truly, truly impressive here to be done in less than an hour with 100 laps, and now our leader gets to celebrate and come burn it down here on the front straight.
Brennan Gregg, a longtime runner in the SRA IEL Truck Series, usually not able to run a full-time season. We'll have to see if the plans potentially have changed for that number 27 entry out of Vancouver, Washington. Burns it down to the front straightaway, deservedly so. This is good momentum for him coming into Fort Worth.
Yeah, great momentum, actually. Not just in the Fort Worth, but in the season. Saying you could won one of the preseason races that maybe had different drivers or more drivers or maybe more chaotic racing than what a regular season will have. And if, say, you did it with green flag racing by passing under green, that's going to feel good.
All right, well, with that all said and done, let's take a rundown of your official post-race results this afternoon. It was a hard-fought race, but boy, was it ever a good race this afternoon. Taking home the checker flag at the end of the night, it is Brennan Gregg alongside Aaron Raymond and Zane Bailey on the podium, with Aaron Raymond did indeed take the W for that number 2 spot at the line. Jared Dillard was in 4th. Paul Witt brings the helmet 5th. Brandon Moore was in 6th, with Bruce Dudley the 2nd in 7th. Richard May, Dale Rappin, Brian Huntley Jr. round up the top 10.
Back to P11, it's John Bawalda Jr. in P11, with Jimmy Kolpensinger in P12, Joshua Small in P13, with Michael Gudger, Kevin Roy, Ryan Wayne, Luigi Diaz Gonzalez, Chase Montelewski, Richard Whitaker, and Thomas Lane rounding out your top 20 with those cars either on the lead lap or one lap down.
Joshua Jernigan was at 21st with Jason Fensler. Once a front runner, Meyer back in 22nd, but expected him to be back in action next week as well. George Kiberfides will be down to the 23 spot alongside Anthony Lane, with William Roberts rounding out the top 25. At this point, we're entering the territory of drivers that failed to finish this race, which includes Lee Tidwell, Jim Duda, Cody Witt, Mike Allen, Jacob Johnson, Larry Eddy, as well as Eli Zalo, Bill Hales, Robert Amaro, and Freddie Vassanez. And from there, everybody else behind did not make the start for this race. Overall, a good race then for a mile and a half.
Yeah, great race for a mile and a half. Lots of clean racing, lots of side-by-sides, and lots of trust amongst these drivers.
And we will now get the chance to take a rundown and take a chat with all of the drivers that come home at the end of the night on the podium. We'll look to start things off first and foremost with Brennan Gregg. Potentially, we'll look to see if we can track down the number 27 entry. And we will now get in touch with that number 27 driver out of Vancouver, Washington, as well, Brandon, you take away another win in the win column here this afternoon. Talk us through your race tonight and how you're able to run down Zane Bailey to take the lead in the final 10 laps.
Yeah, so I was working with Aaron for most of that race there. We were kind of trying to follow the same strategies. I figured out pretty early that there was some pretty decent fall off on the right front, so just kind of spent most of my time saving that. Seemed to work pretty well, but just got hindered by a couple cautions there. I think that last one was pretty lucky, because otherwise probably going to finish like 8th, because had to pit another time. And then, yeah, that last run just kind of tried to save my stuff, then ended up getting it.
We haven't been able to see you make much in the way of a full-time run throughout SRA at the time we've been covering it. Is that looking to change when we get down to the new season, or is it still going to be part-time for you?
I'm not entirely sure at the moment. My original plan was to kind of miss most of these because I'm doing some physical therapy for my wrist. Felt good today, so decided to run this one, and then as for the rest of the preseason and then into the IEL, or I guess SRA season, more than likely going to be part-time, but we'll see what I can make.
We look forward to next week at Fort Worth, Texas. You mentioned, of course, some PT for that wrist. If it feels good, though, will you be back in action in the Lone Star State?
Going to try my best to.
Sounds like a solid plan. We'll wish you the best of luck then. Hopefully that wrist does feel better soon, and hopefully we'll be seeing you again in Texas.
Yeah, thank you.
As that is Brennan Gregg coming home to take away yet another race win this afternoon. We'll move on down to the driver that picks up the number 2 spot. It's out of Highgate, Vermont, Aaron Raymond.
Aaron, what a great run tonight. P2 is where you finished. We saw you go up and down the field, and maybe in some ways, maybe according to some drivers, a controversial fashion. Well, first off, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on some of the comments from your competitors regarding some of the passes you were making on new tires?
Yeah, I want to apologize to Brandon Moore. I just frankly driving pissed off. I had a slip pit stop, and then I got blocked by 2 lap cars in a row, same lap, same corner, so I was just trying to get through them as fast as I could. Then I thought I had more of a gap than I did.
So we saw this race go green for about the last 30 laps or so. So I'm going to ask you, now that the race is over, you can kind of safely talk about it. How close were you on gas?
I got my 5 to go message on the last lap.
Okay, so you have plenty of space to go. Well, here we are, a preseason race here at Homestead, a pretty clean race overall. What was your overall impressions of the race?
It went better than I thought, based off of how the practice races went, with how bad the tires fell off. It was still a lot of saving the right front, but that's kind of expected with Homestead. But overall, it went relatively good.
Well, next week we make the trip across to the middle of the country to Texas. A, are you going to be racing next week and that close to Christmas? And B, what's the outlook for that race?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be racing, and I think I won the last trip we went to Texas, so I'm try to go 2 in a row.
All right, well, there you go. Aaron, it's a great race tonight. Pleasure watching you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, that's Aaron Raymond, driver of the number 6 machine. He finished P2. Now we'll go down to Zane Bailey, who finished P3 tonight in that number 20 machine. It's getting Zane, and Zane, boy, you had just a great run tonight, up and down the field. It led some laps. How did that feel?
Oh yeah, pretty good, but lost it in the end.
So at the end, at one point you had about a half-second lead on the field and just kind of got ran down. Was it just a matter of tires wearing off? Did the draft just kill you, or what do you think led to you getting past?
I think I burned up my tires a little bit too early, and I probably should have moved my brake bias back sooner than I did, because I was really starting to plow and exit.
So you led a good portion of the last run of the race. So I know Aaron told us he had the 5 to go warning at the white flag. Were you closer than that on fuel?
I had like maybe I've had like 3 laps left, something like that.
Listen to him. So I'm going to ask you this. I won't call it retro, but pardon me the word, but it's very plain blue paint scheme. What's the inspiration?
I don't know. I just like the color.
No sponsors, no names, no pictures, no nothing. You're just a good old plain kind of paint scheme guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I just really like it.
There you go. Well, listen, we'll served you well tonight. A P3 is where you're going to finish. You're getting closer and closer to that win.
Yep.
All right, Zane. Well, listen, it's a pleasure watching you race tonight, and we'll see you in 1 week at Texas.
Thank you.
All right, there's Zane Bailey, driver number 20, and Nolan. I mean, I've always said it many times, but the worst thing again, a pretty clean race, a great race, better than they expected, maybe better than we expected. That was pretty fun.
Sure was, and you know what? I respect Zane Bailey for just liking blue. I also like blue. Respect the blue, whether it be a flag or truck on the racetrack. But like you mentioned, Derek, it was a great race tonight. It's bound to be a great race when we swing on out at Texas Motor Speedway. I don't know, sometimes I found the racing in Texas in leagues elsewhere to be a little bit on the duller side. Here, shockingly, it's one of their best racetracks when it comes to getting some wild moments. Some of the best moments we've had in this league, some of the biggest storylines have been from Texas Motor Speedway. Next week, bound to be no different.
No, bound to be no different. Probably some line dancing going on, maybe some two-steps, a little boot, scoot, and boogie, if you will, and someone will come away a winner of the 3rd preseason race.
Before we get to all of that, though, we still have to close out this current week of racing on Green Flag TV, and we'll be closing out that week this coming Sunday night with the SRA Winter Series, taking it up for twin 30-minute features at Lanier National Speedway's dirt configuration, first with the mini stocks, and then the street stocks soon to follow. On Monday night, Derek and I are back at the broadcast booth for race number 13 of the High Tide Race League MF Racing Designs Premier Series. It's Iowa Speedway for the final race in the calendar year, and then it'll be one more race on the calendar year as well for the Beer League. Alex Carver took the championship, so it's all bets are off when we go racing in upstate New York at Watkins Glen in the National on Wednesday night. We're getting set to wind down the year, but we are still not short of racing action. My name is Will Ramble alongside Derek Watson. If you want to find out more about who we are, what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. We'll see you all next week in the Lone Star State.